Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Hope we're all having a fantastic Saturday, and welcome back to our normal Saturday afternoon programming here at GT45 Gaming. That's right, everybody. We are back here with our great friendly community, the Gran Turismo racing community, and we are back with their next set of seasons championships. Today is the season start off here, and today we have for everybody the main championship here from the Gran Turismo racing community at Suzuka, and it is going to be the Group 4 Drivetrain championship. So the way this is going to work is for the first 3 races of the season, it will be the Group 4 rear-wheel drive only cars, and then the next 3 races will move into a different type of drivetrain, whether it be the all-wheel drives, the 4-wheel drives, or the front-wheel drive Group 4 cars, and they will run those race cars for 2 or 3 racing rounds all the way through to the end of the season. The end of the season, of course, being something a little bit different than everything ahead of it. So we're going to see rear-wheel drive cars here. Today at Suzuka. I'm just looking at the car list here. I was just going through the cars. It is going to be a 1-hour endurance race, started with a qualifying session that will be timed in good old GTRC fashion. We'll see these guys do probably 3 hot laps and then park it at a safe point at the end of turn 1 and wait for all the drivers to do their 3 laps, and that will set the grid. It'll be fastest first with a false start grid start check, and all basic rules do apply. It is a 2 times fuel and tire here, I believe, today. I'm actually going to go look. I think I'm wrong. 3 and 3. It is 3 times tires, 3 times fuel. BOP on. There is brake bias allowed here for our drivers in the Group 4 as well. Damage is on light for the championship. Refueling speed is 8 liters per second here as well for pit lane. The requirement is the racing hards and the racing medium tires for our drivers here this season, and the only way that that gets voided out is if it is deemed a wet race, and today, however, could be one of those potential wet races as we are racing on Suzuka on the screen in front of you. So some quick information about Suzuka is a 61 mile racetrack, 5.81 kilometers, has 20 left and right hand corners, is a tarmac road surface. It is a real world circuit, meaning that it is still currently used today in real life, and has an elevation change of approximately 131 feet. Alright, so as we bring up the good stuff here, and the stream was struggling a little bit on startup here today, so hopefully it's running fine for everybody. Everything looks like it's running good. So we have a full grid here. We're missing 1 driver basically today in the Group 4 championship here. So this is going to be a very good start to the championship season here with a full grid of cars. So we've got some NSXs, we got a BMW. What else do we see here? We got some Ferraris. I see a Viper. I see a Cayman. So we're going to see lots of similar cars because we are restricting it to specific drivetrains, so that does of course eliminate a lot of the Group 4 class around this. Other cars could be the Corvette, I think the Aston Martin, stuff like that as well, but it seems like everybody's going with the more lighter, nimbler cars here in the championship to start the season. Suzuka is a very technical circuit. It's a mid-speed circuit as well. It has lots of very complex corners that go in different directions and in sequence as well, and then you get a small little break of a straight run, and then you end up with another different kind of sequence of corners here. It's a very difficult racetrack to get a handle on, but once you got a handle on the racetrack, it can be a lot of fun. So with that being said, it's going to be interesting to see how our season starts here. It is random weather as well, so that means that rain could potentially settle into this thing here. And let's just take the radar up here and let's see what Suzuka has had here in the last hour before our racers get underway for qualifying. I got a 2-minute warning here for race control up on the screen as well, so we are getting very close to qualifying session time. We have new faces here as well this season, as well as some familiar faces from previous seasons and of course last season. So it'd be very interesting to see how everybody kind of adapts and learns to be around each other. We have some very fast drivers that have joined this season as well, and it is a mixture of male and female racers here in the championship as well. I'm not really going to point out who is who. We may just through our normal commentary as the race progresses, but it would be interesting to see if you guys can figure out who our male and female racers are. Alright, so nothing. No moisture on the docket here right now currently, but what's going to happen is we're going to see a double reset in about a minute's time here on the lobby. A double reset is going to completely change the weather model in the lobby. It could very well be pouring rain when that double reset happens, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what Suzuka is going to throw at our racers here, but we are just preparing for qualifying here. So I've chosen to put the Corvette up on screen here for the Group 4 rear-wheel drive Drivetrain Championship this season. This is a pretty old liveried car. This is about 4-year-old car now or something like that, but yeah, you know, I'm Canadian. Our neighbors to the south of us are American. A large part of our community is, of course, American, so just one of those kind of tribute cars. And of course, it was a part of a championship that we ran very early in our career here at GT45 Gaming as well. I believe it was an all-star race, if I'm not mistaken, that this is designed for. So alright, so race control is just checking in with all the teams and drivers here right now. It seems like everybody is getting underway, so that is fantastic news. And the stream is lagging a little bit. Sorry, we do have this recording as we're streaming it, so if the stream just does not work very well, we will put a clean version up this weekend. Hopefully it settles itself down. I'm not getting any warnings in my software. But YouTube says that we are not maintaining enough data. Just gonna roll with it. Ooh, well that changes things slightly now, doesn't it? Let's take another look at that weather. Very overcast here all of a sudden. There we go, quality is underway here officially, so while the drivers are getting out on their out laps here, we're gonna keep our eye on that weather radar here over the last hour. Now, there doesn't seem to be any precipitation in the area, so that's a good sign for the racers. Let's get into qualifying. Alright, welcome in everybody, hope everybody's having a good afternoon. This is our GTRC new season from GT45 Gaming in cooperation with the GTRC, of course. So welcome back everybody. We did take last season off with the community. We just needed a little bit of a break, but we're ready to come back here this season. We've kind of altered our strategy a little bit here at GT45 Gaming when it comes to our commentary as well slightly, so that has changed the way that the page is putting out content here at the moment as well. GT Jersey coming in with the sub. Appreciate you, my guy. Welcome to the Winner Circle community. You're enjoying the racing as always. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Alright, so Doug's leading the charge here in qualifying, and like I said, this is done differently here at the Gran Turismo Racing community. When these guys do their qualifying runs, it is a free run session in a sense, as if you're just practicing pre-race in the lobby. They will do an outlap in a predetermined amount of hot laps, whether that be 3 or 4. It's within usually a 5 or 10 minute window. I think it's a 10-minute window here at the GTRC, if I'm not mistaken. And so that gives it about, I'm going to say 3 hot laps today, maybe 4 at the most, and we'll see them, like I said, all park at the end of turn 1 once they've completed their designated amount of hot laps. Once all 15 drivers have completed their designated amount of laps here today, 14 drivers, pardon me, then racing officials will get their data information they need. They will set the grid and we'll get underway for a 1 hour endurance race here today. And again, racing hard and medium tires are required in the champ unless it is declared a wet race. Wet race is only declared when the moisture meter beside the tire gauge on the bottom left-hand side there, you can see what it says RM, and then you can see the tires in that condition of the car in a sense. There's a little gauge right beside those tires on the left-hand side. When that hits that first bar, the 33% mark in that gauge, that will be determined a wet race, and that will void the tire mandate, so the drivers will not be required at that point to have to use both racing hard and medium tires. So it's going to be interesting to see if the drivers are going to use that little tidbit to their advantage in a sense for strategy wise. So but again, with it being random weather, it's entirely hard to predict what is going to happen here in the race today. And we'll take a look at the weather multiplier at the end of qualifying session here and give us a little bit better idea how much weather change we should expect to see over the next hour here as well. The more the multiplier increases, the higher chance you actually have of rain coming into the racetrack is what we're finding. So it's going to come down to that weather multiplier. So we're going to stick with Dugborough here. It's qualifying. Shouldn't see any battling happening on the racetrack here. I mean, drivers make mistakes and they do swap positions on track, but other than that, we're not going to see the race as hard racing here. Ideally in qualifying, you want to give yourself, 3, 4 seconds, 5 second space in between the cars, which gives you a little room to have clean air to make your corners properly, but ideally gives you a little bit of room to react to catching up or making a mistake, or a driver around you making a mistake and not having it cost you your qualifying lap in the process. Welcome in, everybody. We see people starting to come in here. That's good to see. We love that. We definitely miss our GTRC racing. These guys and gals put on some great racing with these championships. They keep them pretty simple, which obviously makes it easy for the racers. But it's the quality of racers that come into race here, the GTRC, that matters, and they're clean, they're crisp, and they're feisty. Very, very feisty. This is a Group 4 championship, so I do suspect we're going to see some pretty close racing here this season in this particular championship. The mini championship will be started off next weekend right here on GT45 Gaming, and we'll end up back on the GTRC YouTube live here as well soon enough. But that's going to be a Miata challenge. So we got the Group 4 championship, which starts this weekend, and then we've got our Miata championship starting up here next weekend from the Gran Turismo racing community, so it should be a good time. Alright, so Doug comes through. It's a 2:11. See what Hair Razor has here. He's not going to take that pole position. Eastland stays in third place. Super jumps up into second position. Rayuyu goes into fourth place. Bar stays in sixth. Type R goes up into fourth place. Ismail goes into second. So let's see what Petrol has here as he comes around. Good enough for fourth place. Sheriff is going to take second in his first attempt here. We got Chip Reese next out on track. He's got a half-second track limit penalty, so that's actually going to void his lap there, so he'll probably stay in 11th. That puts Roses. Where's Roses? In the BMW M4 here. He stays in 11th, so he must have made a mistake there. Mike moves up into 7th place, and we got TDC Gaming, or Rad's the Damn Cat, here in the Dodge Viper, moves up into 11th. So Doug Barrow, our first driver out on track, does manage to hold pole position on the first track here. This is for provisional pole, of course. Sheriff's Doofy and Ismail sitting there in second and third place as well, only a few tenths of a second behind. Good luck, everyone. How's it going, ATV? Hope you're doing fantastic, my dude. So that was a interesting start to the qualifying session. There were definitely some drivers there that made their mistakes. Group 4 cars we don't see ran that often lately. It's a lot of Group 3 racing going on here currently in the community, and so it's fun to see the Group 4 cars. Lots of people love the Group 4 cars. I'm actually a big fan of Group 4 racing myself. I seem to do fairly well on them, but I'm always the oddball out. I'll always take the off-meta car in the Group 4s for some reason. That's just the way I roll, but it seems to do me pretty well for the most part. Looking forward to both these championships here, as they've been very quickly approaching as well here at GT45. So, like I said, we didn't do last season. We missed last season with our with our friends here at the GTRC. So it's nice to be back, and I definitely can't wait to see the racing. And like I said, lots of new faces here in the field this season as well, and lots of familiar faces. We got Doug Burrow, obviously one of our key members here at the GTRC, is a vital member in designing, developing, and managing not only the community but the championships themselves. And he does not improve on the lap there, so we're going to jump to Sheriff, who's currently sitting in second place. You see some guys swapping some positions around here. And then we'll jump to Ismail here, Ismail is currently now our new pole sitter as he comes around there. He was ahead of Sheriff by about a 211.729 there as he comes around, and Sheriff does not find any improvement, so it's 0.076 faster currently than second place is Doug Barrow there, and it looks like it's a 2 and done here today. So 2 laps is all these drivers got here today at Suzuka for qualifying, so a 5-minute session essentially. And everybody's parking at the end of turn 1, which is as per the rules. Roses is coming through and does not find an improvement. Ooh, that shocks me a little bit here. As dunk dunk. That was actually a nifty little corner right there. It looks like all our drivers have finished their qualifying rounds. All right, so we have Ismail here. Not a new face, but he just doesn't race every season, so he is back this season. Of course, we got Doug Burrow, one of our admin staff. Sheriff Doofy's been racing here now for a couple of seasons. He's back this season as well. We've got Supra as a long-standing member here with Hair Razor. We've got Mike 1972, who's also here as well. They're messing with my program here by jumping off the track, but they're switching their tires around. We've got Bar 27, who's also one of our admin staffs. Eastland has been just in a couple of seasons here this season, so he's not a new face, but he is a returning driver this season, so it's nice to see him. We've got Petrolhead, who's one of our admin staff here and behind the championships as well. We've got Team Rad's the Damn Cat, who is a long-standing driver here at the GTRC as well. We've got R.A.'s Roses back this season. He's here and there in certain championships, depending on what the championship is, so he is back for this Group 4-1 this season. Type R, a long-standing community member. Ismail here in 11th position is returning Rad UU is a new member of Team Rad, and also new to the GTRC Championship here as well, so it'd be interesting to see how UU does here on track. We love to see the new faces, and we do have a couple of other new faces that are currently not here at the moment this season, or today in this particular race. So we also have a young gentleman here that's going to potentially be racing the GTRC this season as well. Just a young man, still barely in high school as well. So the community is open for all to race. It is a safe community. The 14-year-old young man that is going to be racing here at some point this season hopefully is a member of our 1010 sim racing team here at GT45 Gaming as well, and I wouldn't send him to a community that is not a safe community. Obviously, with him being a young man, we want to make sure that he has a good experience in the sim racing community, so we have sent him to the GTRC because the GTRC is a relatively outstanding safe community. The chats get a little risque, but I mean, his dad is along the ride with him every step of the way here as well. So I mean, the community is safe for all ages. So I mean, even if you're a young person going, well, I don't know if I can race because some people don't allow you to race unless you're 18 years old, that's not the case here. This is open for everybody that's a sim racer, and the whole point of league racing is to help develop skills, learn how to become a better, faster racer, be cleaner, how to race around other people. It's more of a learning experience and a training tool than it is anything else. We just, you know, twist it up and change it up and make it fun and throw it on stream and you know, put some bragging rights on the line and have that weekly get together where we get to compete against each other and you know, do a little trash talking in between and all the great stuff that happens, you know, when you're around your friends. So it's a great community. We're glad to be back, and I can't wait for this race. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Alright, so the racing hard and the racing medium tires. Just recovering from IRO and a 24-hour bug. Oh, I gotcha. How'd you guys do? So this is live as it's happening as well, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a rebroadcast or an after-the-fact race. This is as it happens here, live on screen. We're just going with the flow here. for the first rounds of each championship. I want to just get the racers into the championship, get them racing, get them kind of into the routine of the racing, and then we'll do some podium interviews starting in a couple weeks' times after each of the races. So it's something that logistically needs to be discussed throughout the championship with the racers and the admin staff before we put that into the stream, and we just haven't taken that step yet. So I always like to kind of see what we got going on here before we set all that up. But we are waiting for the green flag. Kick them tires, light them fires, and we are Group 4 racing here at the GTRC, and everybody seems to get a pretty decent start here, and 14 Group 4 rear-wheel drive cars barreling in down to turns 1 and 2. This is always a little risky. Everybody's on cold tires. We got different tire compounds at play, and we've got a very different array of cars. And we got somebody off track here very early on with a very wide exit. We got Ismail up in the lead, Doug in second, Sheriff in third, Supers up in fourth. We got Petrolhead in fifth, Hair Razor in sixth place, Mike 1972 in seventh. We got Type R in eighth. We've got Eastland in ninth. We've got Bar in 10th. We've got Union City in 11th. We've got Roses in 12th. We've got TDC in 13th, and we've got Chip here in 14th position. Nose, tail, front pack as we get through the mid, through into section number 2 here, I guess, at Suzuka, and Ismail getting a very early jump here on the field. Doug in second place had Sheriff all over both those drivers in the NSX, and the top 3 actually is made up of all NSX here so far, so saying something for Suzuka. We got Petrolhead, he is in the Nissan Silvia here. Supra is in the Alfa Romeo 4C. We got Ferrari with Hair Razor. Mike is in the Ferrari as well. We've got a Supra here in Type R. That's my man right there. We've got Eastland in 9th place. He is in the NSX as well. Bar's in a Ferrari. TTC's in a Dodge Viper. Bold choice. We got Chip in a Ferrari. We've got UU in Porsche GT4 Cayman. We got Roses in the BMW M4. It's a spicy little tamale. Alright. Remember, different tire compounds here, not last. That's all that matters, ATV. That is all that matters, my dude. That's good. I mean, that's what you guys are looking for out of the car chain, right? To be a little bit more competitive. Same thing with us. So we just kind of bottled our race last weekend, but it happens. Alright, Ishmael, 8/10 of a second up in the lead here right now, and it hasn't broken the slipstream here, but he is definitely working on that as they head through the Casio Triangle here for the first lap at Suzuka. So now we are under what I like to call the race pace. The tires have some heat to them. The drivers have gotten a full lap around. They've kind of sorted their positions out somewhat here, and it's game on. So for the next 57 and a bit minutes, let's see how it all plays out. We got a half-second track limit penalty here on our third-place driver, Sheriff, currently, and that is going to take him off the back end of Doug a little bit, and they're going to put him in the grasp of Petrolhead here, chasing just in behind in fourth place. Now, he's 1.3 seconds behind, so it's not going to be enough to make a move, but we do have a pass here between Hair Razor and Supra. This is a juicy little battle here. We didn't quite see the setup there, so let's go take another look. And it was a defense there from Hair Razor. They went a little bit wide, and it was actually Supra trying to get the position on Hair Razor. The Ferrari just holding strong there, so it was a good defensive battle right there for Hair Razor to hold on to P5 from Supra. But Supra is most certainly still there challenging as he's got his nose up on the inside here now as we head into the kink, though he is on the not so good line, but an over-under there, and Hair Razor gets a little bit wrong. He's just trying to get on track without causing any carnage. He loses 3 spots there. That was a great job, great recognition there by Hair Razor, and he goes down from, 5th down to 8th place there, but he is settled back into the race here. He's tucked right in behind Type R in the Supra there, and lots of racing happening here, but we are going to see little mistakes like that being made. Both those Ferraris getting a little bit wrong coming around the corner. The Viper from TDC as well getting a little squirrely coming around the hairpin there. And we got UU Roses and Chip Reese here, 12th, 13th, and 14th position here currently right now as well, all very close together. So lots of little groups happening here on the racetrack to start off with. That's good, ATV. That's good. I mean, it's all about learning and building confidence at the end of the day for a lot of us. And I mean, you're stuck in split one, so you have to take all that. You have to take it away like that, right? It was a big learning experience. So it's good. Glad you guys had or felt good about your race today. Alright, so Ishmael now starting to open up the gap there. 1.7 seconds, almost 2 seconds here as he heads through the Casio Triangle here on lap number 2. Because it's a little over 2 minutes a lap here, we're going to see roughly about 20, I'm going to call it 26, maybe 27 laps today. for our race here with the pit stop included. It's going to be another couple of minutes, or at least a minute, for the drivers with the pit stop here as well. So yeah, I think 27 is probably at the most what we're going to see here today. And as the drivers start to kind of space themselves out a little bit here, we see Hairraiser gets a good run on the Supra here as we head into turn 1 and 2, and he does have the inside line there, so he should be able to get the job done, and he does. Hairraiser gets a nice tidy pass there. Heading up into turn number 2, guys, the power down, but the Supra did not have that wiggle like we see in the Ferrari there, so he is right back on the back end of Hairraiser there, but the Ferrari is going to be quite strong through the S's here. As Suzuka bar is closing in there, 0.6 of a second in behind, and TDC now up into 9th place there. He's broken free from that backpack a little bit. He's trying to close in on bar in front there. We got Supra and Eastland here. I'm not sure what happened to Supra here, but he's dropped down to P10. Now battling with Eastland in 11th place here. Yu is feeling some pressure here from Roses as he just nibbles his way underneath there, and does seem to get the job done, but she's holding strong here. Yu, oh, I thought they were maybe going to go side by side through the gate, but she decided to pull out at the last second there and just tuck in behind Roses. I thought maybe she was going to try and hold strong there, but thought better of it, tucks in behind that BMW, and they are starting to pull away from Chip Reese a little bit here in 14th position. Not by much, though. He's still very, very solidly in the slipstream there. We got Ismail running away with things right now, but he is on the faster tire compound compared to the two guys following in behind. We got a nice battle here between Doug and Sheriff currently on the racetrack, and Sheriff moves up into 2nd position there as we head out of the, I can't remember what that spoon curve, I think that is. As we're heading into 135R here, it is Doug all over the back end of Sheriff here. So let's see if we see a move into the Casio Triangle in response here from Doug. Doug just stays in behind here. He just settles in behind Sheriff. He doesn't seem too concerned currently about the fact that Sheriff is up in front of him. Petrolhead chasing in 4th place there as well. You can see he's trying to close in. A little bit of a slide there from Doug. Nice catch as they come around through the final part of the Casio Triangle there, and a little bit of a change position in the podium there. So Sheriff now into 2nd place, Doug into 3rd, and Petrol, pardon me, 1.5 seconds in behind still, trying to close up the gap to the podium there. We got Mike, who's trying to break free from Hairraiser a little bit here. He is closing in on Petrol. Hairraiser almost back to where he was before that moment on the racetrack we're seeing coming out of the kink there. Bar 27 here is doing pretty good. He's up in the 7th place here. He does still have Type R in that Supra, very, very close in behind here, but Bar has grabbed that position from Type R as well. So Type R is down 1 spot here currently. Now TDC Gaming in the Dodge Viper here is trying to close in. Let's sit with Type R here for a minute as we continue around the latter part of the first section of Suzuka here. And not quite really close enough for anybody to do anything drastic there. A little snap from the back end of the Supra there, and that does allow TDC Gaming and the Viper to close in, so maybe a potential battle happening here between the Viper and the Supra here. This is interesting. These are two cars that are not well suited in the Group 4 class currently. The Supra is a very strong car, but it's not as good as it used to be in Group 4, so it's just taken some debuffs in recent months, which has made it almost not competitive in a sense in the Group 4 class. It just definitely struggles a little bit now, but the Dodge Viper is in kind of the same position as far as how it performs in the class itself currently in GT7. So this is an interesting battle between these two cars because both should by rights be very strong cars within the Group 4 class, but just due to debuffs and just the sheer weight of these cars, it's really kind of, you really got to drive them. You really got to send them to make them competitive. And you can see that's what these guys are trying to do is TTC. He's going to go for a ride. He's going to ping pong off the wall. And that was a hit right there from TDC Gaming. So let's go take a look at that there. Find TDC here. Obviously he's losing some spots on this due to the incident there. Oh my man, he's still recovering from that here. So this is just a case of dirty air a little bit here. He got on the power a little bit earlier to try and get a run on the Supra, and he just was not quite where he needed to be. The rear tires hit that grass, and oh wow, that was tough. That was a tough hit. And TDC Gaming has a little chat with Barry there, but we're still very early in the race. There's still 50 minutes remaining yet. An incident like that is most certainly recoverable at this point in the race. You just hate to see it, but it happens. But just as we're talking there, a little mistake made there by TDC, and that's just a sheer power to weight ratio in that car. The car has an insane amount of power in that Dodge Viper Group 4 car, but when you put the power down like that mid-corner, it tends to force the car out to the outside of the corner, and that's exactly what happened to TDC, plus a little bit of dirty air, meaning that he didn't have the front end grip that he was probably expecting, and it just shot him out a little bit wide. So it's unfortunate. It's just a very simple mistake that many of us make in racing, and I mean, it's a mistake we all make. It happens. Alright, so Supra in 9th. Eastland's still very close behind here in 10th. Ooh, we got a yellow flag up ahead. So what is going on here? Oh, we got a celebrity up in the house here. Mr. Robbie Heck joined into the lobby there just a second ago. He's checking things out, obviously. Driver should be very thankful that Rob's not in the series. He'd be like 8 seconds up the road by now. That would be a goal to chase. Get Rob. Alright, Sheriff in 2nd place. He's actually opened up a pretty good gap here on Doug in 3rd position here as well. So, interesting strategies going on here from our drivers as well. Petrol's still very solidly in 4th place. He's just been kind of chilling right there all race long. Hairraiser now has moved up into 5th place, so it must have been Mike 1972 we've seen have the issue with the yellow flag there, as he was who was ahead of Hairraiser. So Hairraiser's back up into 5th place before the incident out of the kink. Bar is now up into 6th place here. Type Bar is up into 7th due to that. That puts Supra in 8th, Eastland in 9th, and Mike dropped down all the way to 10th position there with that mistake in the Ferrari. That puts Roses about 3.3 seconds in behind and closing in the BMW, and Yu still right there in behind as well, has not left the rear bumper of that BMW since they had their battle. Roses coming into pit lane. We see Mike and Type R also coming into pit lane here, and Chip Reese is in 13th position with TDC chasing about 14 seconds back here currently. So that was that crash there definitely setting him on the back foot a little bit here in the race, but we got some very early pit stops coming from the racers here, and I'm just trying to figure out what that may be about. Now maybe we're seeing a 2-stop strategy happening here. Maybe the drivers aren't liking the way that the hard tires are feeling underneath these racing cars today, and maybe they're going to opt to go with 2 medium tire sticks instead here. So it looks like we have some drivers on 2-stop strategy. It looks like we have some drivers on probably a 1-stop strategy here. Fuel looks good. Fuel should be plenty doable on a 1-stop here. Some are in better shape than others, but for the most part they're all fairly close to each other in fuel. I expected to see a little extra fuel usage out of that Porsche Cayman, but it seems like they're right on point with the rest as well. So everybody doing a really great job at managing the tank. Definitely seeing some different varying strategies here. We're going to see some 2-stop versus 1-stops here, I think, today, and that's a little unusual, to be honest, here from the Gran Turismo racing community. Usually it's a pretty dominant strategy type in these championships. Usually the 1-stop is the most feasible strategy here, but maybe the racers are thinking that potentially there could be rain in the future, so maybe if they just get off the tires early, jump onto the mediums, and then maybe the rain will change in and it forces an extra pit stop for the rest of the drivers to put them back in sequence. I'm not exactly sure what the thought process would be behind something like that, I guess, or maybe that's just their design strategy. Maybe it's faster to do the 2-stop on a short, hard run than it is to do a 1-stop. Well, we're about to find out, because we definitely got the 2-stop versus 1-stop happening here on track. Judging by what I'm seeing for the medium tires, you're not going to get 50 minutes out of them. There's no way. So it's going to definitely have to be a 2-stop for some of those drivers. We see Eastland and Yu also coming into pit lane here now as well. Both those drivers coming off the hard tires, so maybe it is the dominant strategy here today is a shorter hard tire run and then 2 medium tires after that point. About half the field seems to be on the 2-stop here currently. Sheriff is closing in on Ishmael a little bit here. 2 seconds is a gap, and it was coming down. Now it's going back up a little bit here, but purple lap coming from Sheriff. He is the fastest man currently on the track here as well, and I believe there is a bonus point for that lap. at the end of the race for the fastest lap in the race. I believe it's a 1 bonus point for that driver, so that is an important point to have, especially at the beginning of the season. We got Petrolhead here in 4th place, still holding pretty strong, but it looks like Harry is starting to close in on Sylvia a little bit. Supra is kind of a no man's land here right now. He's being chased currently by Chip, who has a bar 27 right on his rear bumper here. So potential battle brewing between these two drivers here. So let's sit with this for a minute. And this is a battle of Ferraris too as well. So this is no advantage versus disadvantage in a sense when it comes to the car. It's going to come right down to the drivers behind the wheel at this point. We got a little wiggle there from Chip and a smaller wiggle from Bar, but Bar seems to get a little bit of a better run. Then we got TDC and Type R just in behind, potentially brewing up a battle themselves as well. So we might have a couple of good little action sequences to see here. Ooh, Chip does go a little bit wide there. Bar does have a nice tight line heading into Spoon Curve there, and then very quickly does take advantage of that mistake made there by Chip in the Ferrari, and Bar 27 does indeed move himself up into 7th position, but Chip does catch that slipstream, and he does get the pull right back in to the rear bumper of Chip there. So Chip is potentially looking to respond, maybe heading into the Casio triangle here. Let's see what happens. We're keeping an eye on TDC and Type R there, but they're a little bit further apart from each other than currently Bar and Chip are. So you can see they're both maybe 2.5, 3 car lengths separating the Supra and the Viper, where we got about 1 currently separating Chip and Bar. But Bar seemed to have got a better run through the final sector of the track here, and he does open up just a little bit of space between him and Chip there, and it should be just enough where Chip can't respond going into turn 1 and 2, but if Bar does make a mistake heading into turn 1 and 2, Chip is close enough there to take advantage of it, but it looks like Bar's got it all under control, and he does hold the position for the time being. So TDC is in 9th place with Type R close behind in 10th place there. And again, not surprised to see those two cars battling with each other. We got Mike ahead of Roses here now up into 11th place. Roses seems to be struggling a little bit here in that M4 in that 12th position. We got Eastland here in 13th, and we got Yu now in 14th position. Some drivers have made a pit stop here, keeping in mind as well, so that has changed the way that the grid is currently sitting. We're going to see this change around a couple more times before the end of this race with the varying strategies, the 1-stop versus 2-stop. But it is Ismail here currently, but he's starting to feel a little bit of heat from Sheriff Doofy in behind here, as that gap went from 2 seconds now down into the 1 second range, and Sheriff is just about in the slipstream range at this point here as we head into 135R. So as we head out of 135R, let's see what the gap is as both the drivers come around here. Ishmael had a pretty solid line through there, and Sheriff had a fairly similar line through there as it seems. So Sheriff needs a really good run here through the Casio triangle to maximize his exit coming out to the front straight here and try and get into the toe of Ismail here. And it looks like Ismail got a little bit of a better exit there, and he just keeps Sheriff on the outside of the free pull here. So those two working hard here right now, up 4 in the lead of the race. Doug is about 7 seconds in behind those guys currently. We got Petrolhead here in 4th place, starting to feel a little bit of heat as well here from Hairraiser. Hairraiser's been just ticking away at that Sylvia here lap by lap once he got into that clean air, and now he is very solidly in slipstream here from Petrolhead. So let's stick with these two here for a moment as they continue to roll through up into the S's here as well. We're kind of keeping our eye on a couple of different places here right now. Ismail is responding here to Sheriff though with a purple sector of the zone, so these two are definitely fighting hard. But let's get back to this one here for a minute. So Sylvia is a pretty nimble little car if you know how to drive it. It is most certainly a very competitive car in the Group 4 class if you know how to drive it. I'm not a big fan of the Sylvia myself personally, mainly because I just don't understand how to drive it properly. But it would have been hard to say what I would have chosen rear-wheel drive part of this championship myself if I were racing. Alright, let's go see what's happening up front here. Not a whole lot is changing at the moment. Hairraiser is definitely closing in here, and what do we got? We got TDC and Type R are very close together here as TDC continues to try and close in on Chip here, but Type R is starting to apply some pressure to TDC now as well, and you can see Mike 1972 starting to linger just in the background here as well in that Ferrari, so he is closing in on these guys as well, so potential four-way battle here maybe for 8th place overall. Should be quite interesting. And 4 different cars, or 3 different cars out of the 4 drivers as well. So you can see the Supra got a nice tight line there, and he's actually going to be forced to check himself up just a tiny little bit there as that Dodge Viper had to try and kind of chunk his way over into the optimal line around Spoon Curve. So it's going to compromise the Viper's exit a little bit here, and the Supra's actually going to get a run. And does pull himself into the toe quite nicely here, but he's not going to be able to do anything heading into 135R. He's just going to have to settle in. He's going to make an early turn in here so dirty air doesn't throw him out. And while this is happening, that Ferrari of Mike 1972 is just lurking in the background, closing in bit by bit. You can see Roses and another driver. Oof. Type R gets a huge run through there and actually gets a little push on TDC. Actually helps TDC through the corner a little bit there, but TDC coming into pit lane, so Type R will actually take the spot over. And of course a couple other drivers will here as well. So I believe it's the second pit now from TDC I've seen here today, so that's interesting. I wonder what he's up to. Ismail has solidified that gap a little bit here again, back up to 3.4 seconds, so something happening with Sheriff there. Doug has gained about a second on Sheriff there as well, but let's get back to this 4th and 5th place battle here. As Hair Razor is very firmly in battle mode here now with Petrolhead. Now that doesn't mean they're necessarily battling, but Hair Razor is close enough to attack now if he chooses to. So let's see what he opts to do here. Is he going to work together with Petrol and Sylvia, or is he going to look for a way to make a pass here? It's still pretty early in the race, so I would assume that these guys are getting fairly close to their pit window. I'm thinking that we're probably going to either just see some cooperation or a very quick battle between the two, a one corner kind of type battle, because one of these drivers just happened to make a small mistake. They're fairly equal in pace, these two guys, so I'm very familiar with each other as well, so it should be a good battle as it does develop here. Hair Razor took a look there. Petrol is going to go semi-defensive there. Nothing happening there. I don't think there was any intention on Hair Razor actually making a pass in the 135R there, but I think it's just a little bit just a review mirror mind games at this point between the two drivers to show, make it look like you're going to make a pass or you're going to make a move, see if they react. In that case, Petrol just kind of held a very half defensive stance in a sense coming through the corner there, and it looks like Hair Razor is going to opt to come into pit lane there, so Petrol is going to have that pressure relieved actually, which is probably a great thing for him, as battling costs time on the racetrack. No matter how quick that battle is going to cost you lap time. And Mike 1972 is gotten around to Type R here now, and Type R is now being attacked from Eastland, and Rose is just off in the background, and then we've got Yu in the Porsche just coming up in behind here as well. We'll continue to filter through our field here as we got pit stop sequences starting to happen. Alright, Chip is in 12th place. We got Roses coming in for a set of rubber, and TDC who hit last time around here is on fresh rubber. So 2 stops they were very quick in between each other here, so I'm assuming now that we're going to see these racers run it to the end that have done the 2 stops. I don't think we're going to see them make another stop unless they completely absolutely murder their tires, I suppose. But the gap is growing between Sheriff and Ismail here currently. Doug is maintaining the pace right now with those 2 drivers. Petrol had that pressure relief from Hair Razor here now, so he can focus on just putting in good quality laps again before he decides to make his pit stop. Same thing here for Supra up into 5th place. We got Bar 27 here in 6th place as well. Looking pretty strong so far as he goes around, but 16 seconds in behind the top 5 there. Hair Razor here is in 7th position, about 3 seconds in behind Bar. We got Mike 5 seconds in behind Hair Razor, and Type R is making that super very racy here today. He has been constantly battling with that car here. It seems like today he's got Eastland in behind him. He's trying to attack on Mike to get the position back from Mike. Mike is going to get a little wide exit there. Should be good for the run, but it looks like the Super is going to tuck in, and so is Eastland. Which one of these two is going to be the first to pull out here? We got trying to be offensive and defensive at the same time here, and oh boy, here we go. Let's see what happens. Is everybody going to get through 135R okay, being so close together? Yes, they do. They all backed off, just gave each other a little bit of breathing space, and then they'll probably tighten right back up through the Casio Triangle here, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So this is a good battle here right now for 8th place as Type R continues to try and challenge Mike for the position back, but now we've got Eastland in behind challenging for the position on Type R as well. But so far so good. They're playing nice at this point. Good, clean, crisp racing here coming from the whole group here today. Really, we haven't seen any real argy-bargy or anything door banging so far here today, so that is a great thing. That means the stewards might have it easy today. Oh, I said that way too soon. I'm sorry, stewards. We got UU here in 11th place. We got Chip in 12th. We've got TDC here in 13th. And we've got Roses in pit lane here. So, oof, struggling. Ooh, Ismail is way up in the lead here, 12.7 seconds now, so Sheriff must have pit. Doug has a 13-second gap over Petrolhead here currently, and then Petrol has a 3-second gap over Supra here in 4th place. Sheriff comes out after his pit stop in 5th position, but he is now on the slower compounded tire. Ooh, the 3-second track limit pit lane infraction there is going to cost him maybe 4.5 seconds on the back run to 135R, so that is not ideal there for Sheriff's charge for the race lead here once the pit stop sequence is filtered through officially here. We still have a couple of drivers that will need to make a pit stop, and I would assume we're going to see that fairly quickly here as TDC is here in 13th. He's about 6 seconds in behind Chip. It looks like Rose is having some issues with that BMW M4 there. They are taking a look at that car in pit lane, but no movement so far coming from the Rose's pit box. So Ismail's cruising right now. Doug is in this is a good spot here as well. Petrolhead, he has only felt a little bit of pressure there from Hairraiser for a little bit, and I mean that could potentially come back once we see the pit stops all filter through. So our top 4 all need to make a pit stop here still. Everybody else at Bar also looks like he needs to make a pit stop here as well, so that will give a position to Hairraiser, who comes out in 7th position here. Mike coming in for his 2nd stop, it looks like here, and I thought all our 2 stoppers had already made their stops, but I must have been mistaken. As Mike is now making his 2nd stop, and that's not going to be ideal for his track positioning here. I thought he was on his way back up to the field there as he completed both his stops, but unfortunately for him it looks like he's had 1 stop left in hand here yet, and that's going to cost him some track position for sure. I would assume that our race leader is going to take his set of tires literally as long as he can there, and Super going really wide coming out of Degner 2 there. And you have to be careful on that artificial curbing when you come out of the Degners, because it is slippery. And you can see Super doing a little drift around the hairpin there as he tried to get onto the power, and again got onto that artificial astroturfing on the outside of the curbing. And that stuff is just so slippery here in Suzuka. It's very dangerous. It's like driving on ice, even when under nice track conditions like we have here today. Here we go, battle time between Bar and Hairraiser here. And this should be a pretty simple battle, I would think, here. So we have one driver on fresh rubber compared to a driver who's on wore-out rubber. And Hairraiser's going to get a nice tight line in the spoon curve here on Bar and just keep him on the outside. And it's going to be a position gain here for Hairraiser as they head out of spoon curve there. That's a great battle between the two. Nice clean pass there from Hairraiser, but Bar gets a good run. He's nice and secure in the toe. He's right on the bumper of Hairraiser here as we head towards 135R, but I don't think that Bar has the tire underneath of him to really do anything with Hairraiser here right now, unless Hairraiser makes a mistake. He'll stay with him here as we head through 35R, but once we get into the braking and the cornering of the Casio Triangle here, this is where that fresher rubber should come into play, and actually a little mistake was made there by Hair Razor. He had to check himself up a little bit, and Barr got a good run on him, but again, the difference in tires is really showing there. Barr wasn't able to actually get the pass made after the mistake of Hair Razor there, and settled back in behind his opponent in the same car. So as we head into turns 1 and 2, I mean, this should be fairly simple for Hair Razor to hold position here on Barr. I'm assuming that Barr has to make another stop. Yeah. Our top 4 drivers yet to make a pit. The Super may have actually picked quite early in the race, if I think about it now, but that would mean he still has to make a second pit stop at some point. So Sheriff is about 4.7 seconds in behind him there after having to serve that 3-second track limit penalty. So if we factor in that pit lane infraction penalty, we should be currently seeing Sheriff and Super potentially battling for 4th place there, but because of that 3-second pit lane infraction penalty, meaning that he crossed the solid white line on the left either on entry or exit of pit lane, they handed him a 3-second penalty. You get a 3-second penalty per line that you cross. So if you cross the entry and the exit pit lines in one pit stop, that's going to be a hefty 6-second penalty. So you definitely don't want to do that. Alright, get back to our field here. Let's see what we see. Oh, we got a battle here between Eastland and Type R now as well. This is for 8th place. These two have been pretty much nose to tail here for the last 10 or 15 minutes of this race so far, it seems like here, as they continue into Spoon Curve. And Eastland, oh, he took a look there, but the Super just has a good solid run there on the midline there. It has just enough to keep the NSX on his rear bumper, but now Eastland does get the run here, and he is going to pull out to try and make the pass on the Super, but the Super just has better straight line speed than the NSX clearly right there, as he was unable to maintain the position heading into 135R and wasn't able to get a pass done. So if you can get the inside position into 135R, that is almost a guaranteed pass, as long as you can hold your line properly. Because you just have that optimal line through the corner, forcing a driver to the outside into 135R really forces them to monitor and control their throttle input to make sure they don't shoot wide on the exit, and it just naturally forces them to slow down a little bit. So it just gives a driver on the inside of the line heading into 135R just a really great opportunity to gain the position. It's not an easy pass. It is a risk versus reward pass in a sense, but good racers can pull it off quite easily. So the opportunity was most certainly there for Eastland, but that Super is just a little bit quicker in a straight line, obviously, than the NSX. So the NSX is all over him here as we head in through the S's right now. We're going to just keep our eye on this. This is a good, healthy battle here on the racetrack. So, and as we're heading up in around towards the Degners here, I mean, they are still nose to tail. So, I mean, this is good defensive driving from Type R. He's a good defensive racer. He always has been. It's very hard to pass him. So let's see if he can hold off Eastland here for as long as he can. Again, gets a good run through Degner too there. And as we head into the hairpin, I do expect to see the NSX close back up on the Super here, but the Super's power output should just keep him out in front here. And it does. We got UU starting to close in on these two here as well. So this is actually really good for the Porsche driver in behind UU, because as these two continue to battle, that's going to actually slow them down a little bit, and that's going to continue to draw that GT4 cable Porsche. Ooh, in closer and closer, and a little bit of a tap right there. A little mistake made there from Eastland. He decides not to make the pass there and just stay in behind. That was a great catch from Type R, but that's fantastic news for UU in behind, because I mean, that was a half-second lost right there for both those drivers due to the mix-up. So that just allows you to now gain that much more time on them. And now we are side-by-side heading into 135R, and there should be a job done here for the NSX. As you can see, the Supra had to check up a little bit there to make sure you didn't go wide on exit there. You don't want to go wide there. It's very dirty and marbly out there. It could cause a very high-speed crash. It's just outright dangerous out there. But UU trying to take advantage of that battle. It just happened in front there and closing up the gap. We got TDC in 11th. We got Mike 1972 here in 12th. After that pit stop, we got Chip in 13th. Rose is still sitting in pit lane assessing that BMW. Alright, so we should see the race leader coming in fairly soon here, I would think. 17-second gap built currently now. With that being said, I think he's trying to make sure that he's building as large a gap as he can, because he's going into the slower compound, the tire. So he's going to be going from the racing mediums to the racing hards, where Doug's going to be going from the racing hards to the racing mediums, much as the same for Supra. And Sheriff is also on the racing hards here as well. So it's going to be a tough climb here for Sheriff now. Once Doug and Supra do make their pit stop, he will gain the position, at least for sure, on Supra. But then he's going to have to hold those drivers off on much better tire compounding up there as well. So it's going to be an interesting battle here. We got Eastland up in 7th, we got Petrol in 8th, UU's in 9th, we got TDC in 10th currently. Type R is feeling some heat from Mike now in behind here, and we got Chip in 13th position here. Something must have happened to Chip. It seems like he fell off the pack there. We just missed it. But we're definitely going to see this NSX coming in within the next couple of laps here, regardless of what his tire condition is, just due to the simple fact is he's going to need fuel soon. And we do see Doug coming in for the undercut, so I suspect we're going to see the race leader come in next lap here. Ismail's a very efficient, clean, consistent racer. He's very hard to develop a strategy to beat him. When you're on the racetrack against him. We now got Super coming into pit lane here. That does give Sheriff 3rd place back as Super makes that pit stop, and it does actually give him 2nd place back as well. So I wasn't sure how far behind Doug he was, but he's currently 36 seconds in behind the race leader right now. So the race leader has done everything he needed to do to try and open up the gap as much as he can. I'm not sure how long the pit stop is here for our racers, but it doesn't seem to be too long. It was maybe, what, 35 seconds, 40 seconds Doug was in pit lane for. Super losing a spot there as well as Petrohead comes up around Bar coming in for his pit stop here as well. And I believe, with the exception of our race leader at this point, this is our pit stops here for the race. So we are just waiting on Iz to make his pit stop here. Oh, we got yellow flag up ahead. That's never a good thing. We do have a driver in trouble in Spoon Curve here as our race leader starts to enter in. As Chip got a little bit wide on entry into Spoon Curve there, got into that artificial curbing on the outside there, and that probably just threw his car around, most likely is what happened there. It happens to lots of the racers on Suzuka at Spoon Curve. It's a normal incident that we're typically seeing there, but good recognition from Chip. And with that being said, looky here, I see some raindrops coming down. Oh my, that has absolutely changed the program here now. Now things are about to get interesting. So the question is now, how bad is the rain going to get? Are the drivers going to require a form of rain tire, or are drivers going to continue out with the racing slicks? And chance that the rain is not going to get too strong. Now we still see the sun peaking a little bit here. You can see the shadows of the pit crew in pit lane here. So it tells me this is just a very isolated little shower, and it's probably not going to stick around. So I would assume we're just going to see the racing hards coming into our racing leader here, but if it does start to rain a little bit heavier, that is going to be a difficult tire, I think, to manage in wet conditions. So let's see where Ish comes out in comparison to Sheriff, who was roughly about 6 seconds in behind before he made his pit stop. He took that 3-second pit lane infraction penalty, and he's inside that 6-second gap once our race leader makes his final pit stop there. So Sheriff actually gained some time back on the race leader there, all said and done. So to take that 3-second penalty into perspective, he's potentially right on the rear bumper of the race leader after that pit stop. So strategies are king in racing sometimes. Hair Razor up into 3rd place. Doug comes out in 4th. We got Petrohead in 5th. We got Supra in 6th. We got Eastland and UU coming in for a set of pit stops here as well. That puts TDC up into 7th place. Mike is applying some pressure to Type R there. Chip is in 13th position here. and moving and grooving through the Dagners as Ismail's actually just closing in on him here right now in through Dagners 2, heading towards the airpin. So we'll be seeing a potential blue flag situation here in the next few corners potentially, and then that leaves Sheriff coming in next as well. So potentially good for Sheriff, potentially not, potentially good for Ismail, potentially not. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out for these two here, but 5-second gap. Definitely close enough for there to be a battle for the race lead with 20 minutes remaining left in the race. Yes, we're about 2/3 of the way through. And I guarantee you that the teams and the crews are definitely watching their weather radar a little more closely now with that little spurt of rain we just saw. And Chip does just stay on the outside of Spoon Curve there to allow the race leader through. So a nice tidy blue flag there as Ismail does make his way around Chip here. So Sheriff is in second place. He did gain a little bit of time there on Mario with that transition. It was like 5.1 seconds, so he gained about a half second there while Mike was navigating around Chip there. I mean, Chip left him lots of room to not lose any time there as well, so that was definitely just driver error, I think, on part of our race leader there. Being cautious, nothing wrong with being cautious. We got Hair Razor here in third place. Oh, Sheriff coming into pit lane. Interesting. Not expect that. Hair Razor also coming into pit lane here, so that puts Doug up into second place. That puts Petrol into third position here. And where is Sheriff going to come out in relation here? Now he's getting some fuel in that car. Taking a lot of fuel in that car. And he's going to come out just behind Supra here as they head into turns 1 and 2. So normally the situation here, because pit exit does come out on the inside of turns 1 and 2, if the exiting car is at turn 1 and 2 before the car that's at race pace is at 1 and 2, the pit exit car actually owns the right to the inside of turns 1 and 2 here. And that means that the car coming at pace down the front straight will have to give them that space on the inside line. So there is a little bit of decision making sometimes, depending on if somebody comes out of pit lane when you're coming into turn 1 and 2 on at flying at race pace. So it's a little tricky. The situation does arise from time to time, but we really haven't seen too much of it here today. So great job here from all our racers. Different strategies, so definitely some different strategies here. And I don't know if the extra stop to mediums was really a smart call there for our current 5th place driver. I think if he would have just fueled up for a long hard tire run there, I think he had a much better chance at maintaining his podium position here. I think now that he's probably taken himself with a chance of getting a podium here. He's about 15 seconds in behind the podium currently, but he is right on top of Supra here in that Alfa Romeo, so he could potentially looking to try and get that position back here as well as he continues. But Ismail is just cruising right now. The gap is coming down slowly here, but 19.2 seconds is a pretty healthy gap here. Petrolhead is 8 seconds in behind Doug and is losing just a little bit of time with him there. And as of course these two continue to start to battle it out here, that's just going to allow Petrolhead to gain more and more time on these guys as well, which is great for him with 17 minutes left of the race. That means that they're not closing in on trying to steal that final podium position right at the end of the race. So Supra and Sheriff battling it out here for 4th place. Sheriff is not quite close enough to make anything happen here into turns 1 and 2, so we're going to go through the field, see what we see. We still got Mike closing in on Type R here, but hasn't been able to make the pass on him yet. UU is about 5 seconds in behind those two. TDC is a little bit off the pace. We got Chip just making a pit stop here right now as well. I'm not sure why. I thought he had fuel there. Something must be wrong with his car as well, as he also seems to have to be having the crew taking a look at something there on that Ferrari here. So we got two drivers very early here in the season, having complications with their machinery here on the racetrack. And I mean, that's racing. That's the way it goes. It happens. Cars break, things don't work, things aren't working right. It causes the car to start not working right. And you race early, so sometimes it's just the way she goes. Great battle here between Super and Sheriff. Though this is about really where the only battle on the track is right now, so we're just going to sit tight here for a minute. We do have Mike and Type R close together here as well. Oh no, we just lost our third place driver here, Petrolhead, so that would be most likely a disconnect right there. And with about 7 laps remaining in the race there, our third place driver disconnecting from the race, and that'll be a 14th place finish for him here today, unfortunately. So, oof, ouch. You hate to see that. So this is an even more important battle all of a sudden here for Sheriff, because what appeared to be off of a podium shot here today now is literally sitting right there in front of him in that purple Alfa Romeo 4C. So this has now become a very important battle, because this is a battle for the final podium position with just under 15 minutes remaining in the race here, and this is going to be an interesting battle, I think, between these two races as well. They're fairly equally paced. They're just in different machinery, so game on. Sheriff is securely into the slipstream here. We got some flashers coming here from Supra. I think he's just letting them know that he wasn't going to defend there. And Sheriff does move up the inside there. A little bit of contact, but Sheriff just gathers it back up. That allows Supra to get back up the inside. I think there might have been a secondary touch there, but that's all right. Battle on. Sheriff is going to re-engage here as they head into the S's. This is a very spirited battle here between Sheriff and Supra right now. And again, this is for that final podium position here on the racetrack right now. This is a battle for third place between the two drivers here, so and it's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Oof, a little bit of a snap coming from the 4C there, so you can see that the 4C is driving on the edge at the moment. They're trying to hold off Sheriff. Sheriff just needs to remain cool, calm, collected, keep applying that pressure, and eventually, hopefully, he can find himself a hole to attack here, though. But he doesn't want to wait too long, because we do have Razor only 5.9 seconds behind. So with that being said, every time that these guys go side by side or battle through part of this racetrack, that's allowing Razor to close in a little bit more time and a little bit more time. So they don't want to be continuously battling for the last 13 minutes of this race, because it will allow Razor to turn this into a three-way battle for that final podium position. So this is a tough situation for Sheriff right now. He needs to figure out how to get around. He is battling a driver on the defense right now. That was a good defensive measure right there from Supra, as he held that very tight inside line in the spoon curve, forcing Sheriff to take a different line through there. But Sheriff seems to get a pretty good run out of the corner. Gets himself tucked into the slipstream. I'm sure we're going to see Supra probably stay on the left side all the way down into 135R here. That is the case. And the NSX had a little bit of a run on him there as well. So a great battle here for this final podium position, but this just continues to allow Razor to close in. He's got the gap almost down to 5 seconds at this point here. So check out this battle right here between Type R and Mike, and that gap is about 1.3 seconds here as well currently. So nothing too brewing there at the moment, so we're going to stick with this battle for third place here. Group 4 racing at its best right here. Just nose to tail for lap after lap after lap. I mean, that's what you expect to see out of Group 4 racing. Alright, so as we head through Degner 2 here, I mean, not much has changed between these two. Supra's doing a pretty good job at maintaining that 1 car length gap right now currently over Sheriff. As we head into the hairpin, It seems like this is where Sheriff has been closing in on Supra, though. It seems like Sheriff is stronger in the last half of the racetrack than Supra is, but Supra is stronger in the first half of the racetrack than Sheriff is, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening there. Sheriff did take a look, but he didn't want to hold that outside line that early into the corner there, so as we head into Spoon Curve. Ooh, mistake made there by Supra. Almost. He did recover it a little bit there. I thought he was going to shoot a little bit wide on the mid-entry there, but he managed to hold it together and actually give him a pretty good run as he immediately moved down to the left side there, heading up the back straight in towards 135R. So Sheriff just not quite an answer here at the moment for the Alpha 4C in front here, but Ismail is definitely in charge of this race. The one-stop strategy proving to be very dominant here today, and Doug in second place on the similar strategy here. Supra is also on the one-stop strategy here as well, so the top three are on that one-stop strategy, where the rest of the field is on a two-stop. So which is the better strategy? Well, obviously the one-stop strategy currently is the better strategy because the top two are on that strategy, but you can't say it's necessarily better when the battle for third place is a battle between a one-stop and a two-stop strategy driver here right now, so very interesting. Sheriff is looking for a big run here coming out of turns 1 and 2 into the S's here. He went a little bit wider into turn 1 there to try and get a much sharper exit out of turn number 2 into the S's there, and it seemed to have worked. It seemed to have brought him a little bit closer back in on Supra here. But Supra's doing a really good job of keeping Sheriff at bay right now for about the last 6 minutes here, and we've been kind of sitting here hanging out watching these two race. This is where the action on the track is right now. We do see, again, a couple of drivers getting a little bit closer. I'm going to go check back on Type R here. I think this is a battle that's starting to brew back up. We got Yu again closing back in on these two here as well. So not quite as close as this battle for third place is at the moment, but Mike is definitely closing in on Type R there to try and apply some pressure for a position. Sheriff looks like he's got a good run here this time as we come out of Spoon Curve. He is most certainly right on the rear bumper of that 4C. He got a very good run. He's going to force his way down into the inside here this time. Like the Super went to go defend it off, but he did get his nose down in there. And we are side by side here now as we head into 135R. And a little bit of a touch there between the two as they go through. That's going to put Super wide out on the racetrack there, and that's going to put Sheriff down on the left. He's just giving him lots of space to get back on the track there. I mean, what do you do there? A little bit of bump going through 135R. They both went to make their turn in, and there was some contact between the two. So race on here again as they have 7 minutes and 50 seconds remaining here, so we're going to see 4 more laps from our racers here. Alright, so Sheriff is now into turn 1 and 2 here, and boy, things are getting a little bit spicy here as it's good to be tight and it's good to squeeze your racers in their lines, but you can't push them around on the racetrack, and we've seen 3 different instances between these two drivers in this battle where if you're going to squeeze a racer tight, you have to not make the contact with the racer, because you're only giving them literally one line into the racetrack, and any amount of tire contact or car-to-car contact is going to force that driver on the outside line off the racetrack. It is a tactic that can actually be used by players as well to purposely gain positions. So if you're going to squeeze a driver tight when you're racing, ladies and gentlemen, you need to be able to hold your line. You need to be able to doing it without making contact, because net coding plays a factor into the game here as well. So that certainly definitely does happen, and a little bit of net coding can also create contact like that as well. There might not actually be contact between the two drivers, but the net coding is creating it. So invisible barriers that we don't see but we can hear. Barr and Eastland here are very close together now, as well as the race draws closer. We're starting to see some mini battles brewing here. Roses is coming out. He's several laps down, but he did manage to get that BMW back out on the racetrack here, so he is out on track there. He's definitely in a blue flag situation right now, but they did get that car running him back out on track, so whatever that issue was, they seem to have sorted it out, and at least he's going to be able to make the end of the race here by the looks of it. I was not making any judicial calls or anything about that battle between third and fourth place there either. I'm just stating an opinion that if you're going to squeeze somebody tight, irregardless of who the drivers are, you have to make sure you can do it without contact, because you are leaving zero room for yourself or the other racer, depending on which position your car is in. You're only giving them one line, and that line is literally enough for the car to still be on the racetrack, so contact just can't happen in that situation. So, I mean, like I said, season one is a learning curve. Everybody's got to get used to racing around each other and stuff like that. You have to make sure that you do advanced skills in racing properly if you're going to utilize them in a race against your opponents, I guess is the point. Squeezing a racer tight like that is an advanced skill in racing, because you're not only compromising their line, you're also, in a sense, compromising your own line, because you're also taking your own car off its natural line that you're used to going around that corner. You have to adapt it around on a different line that you might not be used to as well. So, I mean, you're compromising. I mean, if it's 2 or 3 or 4 drivers that are in that situation, they're all compromising each other's lines around the corner or a section in that situation as well, right? So, yeah, good hard battling. I mean, that's what you accounted to. Good hard battling. And Roses is really tucked in here on this battle for position between these two guys here right now. He's really just trying to stay out of it the best he can, but I mean, he's quicker, so he does manage to get in between the two there. That's not ideal there for Mike. He's trying to battle for position there, and he's got that BMW that's weasing his way in between himself and the objective car there. So Roses is literally just trying to stay out of the way of this fight, but you know, he's a car on track, and the other drivers are going to utilize that other car on track for slipstream and other things, right? So he's kind of unwillingly involved in this battle, whether he wants to be or not right now, because I mean, he, like I said, Type R is using him for slipstream right now to make sure that that Ferrari stays in behind him, while the Ferrari is also using the Supra for slipstream to try and stay close to him. So that was fun. That was very fun. Air Razor closing in on Sheriff here as well. We got Barr and Eastland with 1.6 seconds separating. And now that Roses is kind of broken away from Type R and Mike here on the racetrack, these two can continue on. Just slow it down by a lap here by Roses. He is coming out on a much fresher set of tires as well, keeping in mind after he's been sitting in pit lane sorting out his car, so he definitely had much better grip underneath him himself than these two drivers do currently on the racetrack as well. So he was literally just trying to get out of the way of these two so they could have their battle at that point. It's been an interesting race so far. There's been a couple of weird scenarios happening here in today's race. And, I mean, that's why we do it. We love it. It makes things interesting. Ismail 14.8 seconds, so Doug's been doing a good job of chipping away at Ishmael, but unfortunately he just didn't have enough in the tank there to reel in the gap that Ismail built on the reverse tire strategy here today. But I mean, he's solidly in second place here. I mean, Doug can have a pretty good spin and he potentially not lose that position here to Supra right now. Supra is starting to feel some heat back from Sheriff here in fourth position as well, but 1.6 seconds back down the road. Running out of time, the clock is definitely their enemy. They're only going to have a lap left once they cross the start-finish line here, and some of these drivers may be at the end of their race depending on where they are on the track when the race leader starts, when the timer runs out, pardon me. Once that timer runs out, depending on what side of the start-finish line you're on, that means the race over. So if you haven't crossed the start-finish line yet, that'll be it. Once you cross the start-finish line, you'll get the checkered flag, and that'll be the end of your race. But anybody that has crossed the start-finish line before the checkered flag drop will get to finish that extra lap as well. So some will and some won't here in this situation because of the spread in the field here, but we will see Ismail, we'll see Doug, we'll see Super Sheriff, Hairraiser, potentially Barner, Eastland will for sure get another lap here. No, maybe not. Might the top 5 may just squeeze that extra lap in here. I think everything underneath that is going to be race over here. So Bar and Eastland, their battle needs to be kind of sorted out here, I think, on this lap if there's going to be one. Bar is too far back here currently unless a mistake is made by Eastland right now, I think. So I don't think that there is a battle brewing there before the start-finish line. I can see what's going to happen for this top 3rd through 5th place here. I mean, they're all close enough that a little mistake can put them into conversation real quickly here. Eastland's doing a pretty good job at holding off Bar here, but as we head into the Dagners, this is race over even for Ismail here. That's it. Timers ran out, so we will be seeing a race finish here as we jump on board with our race leader, Ismail Truth, LMR Ismail Truth, that is Loose Moose Racing Team. And it's going to be a round 1 victory here in the Group 4 drivetrain for Ismail, so congratulations to him. One-stop strategy most certainly was king here today, and Doug will feel the same way here as he comes around for Team Rad. And second position here. And that was a good solid race here from Doug as well. He just wasn't able to reel Ismail in. Ismail's a very, very good driver, very good racer. He's very hard to keep track of. Sheriff absolutely sending it there to try and close up the gap to Super there, but unfortunately for him, he's going to get it wrong coming out of 135R there, and is going to be unable to capitalize there. So it will be a 3rd place finish here for Team Rad driver Superboy. 10-10's racer Sheriff will come across in 4th place. Team Rad's Hairraiser in 5th place. All 3 of them very close together there. It is going to be Bar 27 has managed to get around Eastland here before the end of this lap. So 10-10 Sim Racing's Bar 27 here. Looking like he's got a 6th place finish here as they come around the final part of the Casio Triangle, and it will be a 6th place finish. Eastland, a privateer, is going to finish in 7th place here. We've got Type R here in 8th position, and Mike and you all right there. So all 3 drivers basically nose to tail here as we come through. It's going to be 8th for Type R, it's going to be 9th for Mike, and it's going to be Yu right there in 10th place. And she did catch that pack right at the end of the race there, so she just unfortunate was unable to get the pass done. And not the best track for the Porsche came in here. It's going to be 11th place for TDC Gaming. Chip will finish here in 12th place. He manages to get that Ferrari back out here before the end of the race as well. And the crews do a really great job of trying to get these cars out on track to finish these races off here at least under their own steam. So no driver likes to finish a race in pit lane. They definitely want to finish under their own steam. So we see him from the BMW driver with about 4 to go was able to get back out on track, and we got the Ferrari driver with a couple laps left to go here in the race was able to get their car back out on track as well. And he will come around and finish this race off here. There is a 3-minute race finish window here, so he will take the checkered flag here today as he comes around. He's just heading towards 135R here right now. And unfortunately for Team Rad's Petrolhead, who disconnected with about 7 laps to go there, that's going to be an unfortunate 14th place finish there for him, and puts him immediately on the back foot here in the championship. But racers are racers, and next racing round is a whole new racing round. Anything can happen. So as Chip comes in through the final couple corners here, in through the Casio Triangle, he will take a 12th place finish here today for Victory Pace Racing and the Ferrari. And then, of course, we have Roses from Team Race Asylum in the BMW M4 here. Tough day out there for the BMW as well for Roses, but hey, racing is racing, and it is a race victory here for Loose Moose Racing's Ismail. Pole position, clean race, but he does not get the fastest lap. Interesting. Let's go see who got our fastest lap here. And it is going to be 10-10 Sheriff Doofy taking the fastest lap of the race with a 2:11.594. So he does secure a bonus point for himself there, and a very important bonus point, may I add. And there is our unofficial finishing results here today. So now what happens is the drivers will have 24 hours to file any potential incident reports. That will be done in through the GTRC Discord server into a very special thread that's designed for incident reporting. They have a process that they have to follow. They submit the information. From there, the stewards take that filed incident report, assess all the information that's involved in the report. The other driver or drivers that are involved in the incident report will also get to put a defense in, as well as their own evidence in as well, which will also be looked at by the stewarding staff, and then the stewarding staff makes a decision from there if they feel like there's no action needed. A racing incident, and typically warnings are handed out to the racers. If they feel like it's a little more aggressive than that and it warrants something further, then they will assess some form of penalty, whether it be a time penalty or a qualifying ban or whatever the case may be, depending on the severity of what the incident was. So that's what the stewarding staff does, and that's all done post-race week. So standings will be made official in about the next 72-ish hours or so here, depending on how that process goes. If nobody files any incident reports within the next 24 hours, and that makes the race official, and the standings can be done within 24 hours. But the drivers will now have that 24-hour window reporting open, and congratulations to all of our racers here today. It was a great start to the GT4 Drivetrain Championship here, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with round number 2 here with the GT4s. Next weekend from the GTRC will be round 1 of the returning Miata Championship, which is always a fan favorite and a racer's favorite here at the GTRC. So prepare yourselves for some spicy Miata racing next weekend right here at GT45 Gaming on behalf of the Gran Turismo racing community. Appreciate everybody's support. Don't forget to like and share this bad boy out before you head out here today, and we'll catch everybody on the next one.